Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Coffee and Counsel. From the 26th of October 2024, new obligations will be placed on employers to prevent sexual harassment in the workplace under the Worker Protection Amendment of Equality Act 2010 Bill. This is a more stringent obligation on employers than under the current regime. The most significant change for employers to be aware of is the introduction of a positive duty on employers to take proactive measures to prevent sexual harassment. Currently, employers are only required to react to complaints after the fact. Under this new duty, employers will be legally required to take reasonable steps to prevent sexual harassment before it occurs. So, what are reasonable steps? In practical terms, this means employers must implement clear, accessible anti-harassment policies with clear reporting channels, ensure all staff are trained on these policies, including the procedures for reporting and addressing harassment. This training needs to be tailored, not just a tick box type exercise. Regularly review workplace practices and culture to identify and mitigate potential risks. What is reasonable will vary from employer to employer. The size of the employer, sector, working environment and resources will also be taken into account, and the specific facts and circumstances of the situation will be highly relevant. A failure to meet this positive duty could result in increased liability for sexual harassment claims. Failing to comply with the new obligations could result in financial penalties and compensation orders in employment tribunal claims. When considering a sexual harassment complaint, the tribunal must consider if the employer has tried to prevent the harassment occurring. If not, the tribunal can increase compensation by up to 25%. Employers also have the risk of damage to company reputation, as well as potential vicarious liability on the employer for acts of harassment committed by employees, unless the employer can demonstrate it took reasonable steps to prevent it. So, some key steps employers can consider to comply with the new duty are: ensure that anti-harassment and grievance policies are up to date, reflect the potential new obligations, and clearly communicate what constitutes sexual harassment. Provide regular training sessions to all employees on recognising and preventing sexual harassment. Ensure employees feel safe and supported when reporting incidents. Regularly assess workplace culture to identify any potential risks or areas where harassment may occur. Ensure that all complaints of sexual harassment are taken seriously and dealt with swiftly in line with legal and internal processes. Identify risk factors for sexual harassment specific to your workplace, for example, telling sexually offensive jokes within the workplace. Our CG employment team are supporting many organisations in taking the steps needed to meet the new duties on preventing sexual harassment in the workplace. So do feel free to reach out to us if we can assist. Thank you for watching.